Hello, America. This is Call of Duty Goddess. Today is May the 5th, 2016. I am with Todd Applegate here. I did a video titled Bombshell: What is Going On in This School? And it was in reference to what Todd, and your wife's name is Jennifer, is that correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Todd
Yep.
and Jennifer Applegate posted about I don't know, it was a paper that was passed around. So, Todd, why don't you tell me about this? Where you live, first of all, what area you live in, and how you know about this.
Okay. We live in Vale, Oregon, Eastern Oregon. We're right on the Idaho border. Um, as you see from, you've already seen that we're a small town. We're a school of 270, and how this came to us was it literally just came to our laps. We were home and got a call that this survey was being asked. A 15-year-old math student at our high school was asked to fill out this specific survey in her math class, along with seven other surveys. They were on a table in the corner, and the teacher was, asked to go. Everybody just to kind of fill them out before they left class, the math class. So uh, she got into one that was titled Malheur County Sheriff Support. It had two men's picture on the front, two guys that are running for sheriff here in town. And when she got into it a little bit, she just got concerned because it brought up Harney County, which is right next door. Um, so, as a daughter of a friend of ours, she immediately, you know, let her mom know what was going on, kind of sent her a picture when she got into it a little bit and was concerned with the questions, didn't know how to answer the questions. And as a parent of a patriot, I guess has heard, enough to know that these questions were kind of off handle, maybe a little bit. So immediately was in contact with her mom, and her mom told her, of course, don't turn that in, don't fill it out, don't turn it in. And she did not. And a friend of her mother's picked her up from school every day, and they came straight to our house with it and showed us, the questionnaire. And so we looked through it, and she'd already been into the school. She, of course, went right into the office with it before she left the school and gave a copy of it to the principal, who knew nothing about it. So a few minutes later, she got a call from the actual teacher. He said that his words were, "You should have seen it before I revised it." So I guess it was worse at one point, and he clearly revised it. Now, the information we're getting is that these were all different surveys written by students, and most of them are pretty clearly, written by students. They kind of bounce around a little bit, and don't look revised at all. They're written down the middle of the page. They were misspelling, no pronunciation. One's about superheroes. One's about tacos. One's about your favorite pizza toppings. One's about turtles and aquatic animals. And so on. And then there was another one about guns, though, that is very concerning that we didn't even mention yet. and 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 then I guess the reason, and we were handed all 8 surveys. We were given these by the principal. She was able to, copy them and give us a copy of all 8. The one about guns is a little concerning because the last question is, does someone in your house own a gun? Yes, no, or maybe. And the one before that, what is your favorite gun? Handgun, rifle, semi-auto, fully auto. Should convicted felons be able to buy firearms? Yes, never. After they did their time, or after their time and did what the court wanted to do, like parole. Would you buy a firearm? Yes or no? Would you own one for your kid? Yes or no? And these people shouldn't have kids. They're 15-year-olds. Would you own one for your kid? I don't know what that one's doing in there either. Do you think that you need to take a class to properly shoot a gun? These are different from the ones we saw yesterday. This is a different poll, but it given in the same time. Even we're talking, why are these out there? We know that the teacher at least saw the one. He revised it. I spoke to the Sheriff Wolf today myself. Um, he had seen it, of course, because I gave him another sheriff a copy of it as soon as I went down. And Sheriff Wolf was kind enough to call me back today, and we spoke. There's things and we don't see eye to eye on, but we agreed that this was off. Shouldn't be allowed. Obviously we have an election coming soon. They are good discussions. We're not arguing that. Maybe I guess not. I don't know, but not for math class. Not when you have people that aren't all straight A students and need more help with their math and not as a survey. I don't know. It was concerning. So now we have two that were concerning. But we spoke to the people. People are trying to nail us and say, "Oh, this is made up and we did it and it's a witch hunt and all that." We simply put it out for thoughts. When my wife typed it in and sent it out on Facebook, she said, "Do we have any thoughts on this?" We didn't want anybody. We're not after somebody's job or anything. I told Sheriff Wolf today, this could obviously be bad news for you or him. It doesn't matter. And we also, our friend spoke with Sheriff Williams, and he didn't know anything about it, of course, and was a little concerned because the picture on the front, 10 years old, and he has no idea how they're going to come up with that picture. So Officer Williams, at the time, so that's weird that they have such an old picture, and he doesn't even know how they got it. So.
What do you mean they had a picture?
So the front of the survey, it has the first page is actually Malheur. It says Malheur County Sheriff Support, and has a picture of Officer Williams in his uniform and Sheriff Wolf in his uniform, the two of them. No other sheriffs running or anything, just the two of them.
Oh, okay.
So, and the picture, and like I say, we talked to Officer Williams. He has no idea. He was concerned. His only thought was, "Wow, where'd they get that picture? That's 10 years old," and he has no idea where they could have even found the picture. That was basically all he had to say about that. But
Right, and that's where as well. I'm wondering quickly if you could. I think the person that we were both talking to, I think they sent me one snapshot or two snapshots of the questions about the guns, which was really shocking to me. It seems like it's fishing for information, in my opinion. What was your take on the questions about the guns?
well, absolutely. I mean, and we still haven't found out where these surveys were headed. Who gets to look at these? And what was the purpose of the one? I mean, the first one was so well written, not a mistake in it. And they have information that would be hard to come by. About the two guys and the guns. This is like I say, we're in a town of 12 to 1,500 people. Ranching, farming community, BLM community, the sheriff's departments here in town, we're the county seat. We hunt. Most people have guns. So I don't know what the purpose of that question is, because I would have to say that 9 out of 10 in this community have a gun, for hunting at least, if nothing else. So it's concerning. It's trying to fish out what they know about their parents, what's being discussed in their homes. Is that, I don't know what else it would be for, but I don't think it was malicious. I really don't. But it's, turned into something that's very questionable, I guess.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it. Yeah.
And I guess I'm a little sensitive. Our district attorney is the one who justified the Lavoie's shooting. And told the country and the world that 3 shots in the back was okay, and that'd be justified. And from that video, that everything he saw, and from a dead man's roadblock, and all the information we have, he still was able to justify that. And that's right here. That's my district attorney, and he, so it's not something I haven't done my research on. We met Lavoie, we met these guys. I've been to the resource center or the refuge. To meet the guys, to find out what they were there for, and I found a bunch of pretty good people, and we're upset about this, that these people are now in jail and being treated the way they are, and so we're doing what we can to just to help out, and to help the families and to be positive for, the families. We stood with Lisa and Angie in Portland over the weekend, the Bundys, and we stood with them. We had dinner with them, and we just tried to, enjoy them and give them, let them know how much support they have, and they know it. They know it. They were there. They feel it from all over the country. So that's great. So we're a little one. I might be biased. That's for sure. But it doesn't mean not. So this was concerning. It jumped right out of it. Why is LaVoy's name on this? Number one, that man's not been convicted of anything. He didn't have his day in court.
Right.
So his name should never be on something like that. There's ways to get around that, I guess, and ask the same question if that's necessary. So,
well, what was concerning to me, I wanted to ask about this question, that the question sheets that I did a video on, because like I had said in the video, I live across the country, but I am in contact with people over in your area, and like you, I'm concerned about our whole country. And when people say we don't want outsiders in, well, that sends up a huge red flag to me, because in my town, I love to welcome insiders and show them around, and I'd like to learn from them and what they've been through. As long as they're nice to me and care about what I care about, well, I'm good with that. So I'm reading on this thing, what religion do you want running our community? A, Mormon; B, non-Mormon; C, no opinion. I think that is very, I, I would guess racist. I mean, why? It's like picking on Mormons. I'm not a Mormon,
yeah,
by the way. I mean,
right,
that was shocking. And
right.
is there a
Well,
big
what?
thing with Mormons there? Is that what it is?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, it's a Mormon town. I mean, it is, and Sheriff Wolf's Mormon and a big part of the church. Um, um, so that question was, I think, one-sided for him, or whatever. Like I say, I'm not on a witch hunt. I spoke to Sheriff Wolf today and told him, that we're not after him. That's for sure. We didn't put this out there. We didn't write these questions. I don't, you know, give my opinion very often. I simply share the opinions of others who are more educated than me. But we do research, and we have researched the LDS religion a lot since in the last 2 months, and we've listened to the prophets, Ezra Toft and Joseph Smith. He wrote the book. The Constitution is hanging by a thread. To that something to that effect, and he nails it. They nailed it a long time ago. And my question to Sheriff Wolf was, where I don't expect the Mormon religion to rise up, but I expect the men of the Mormon church to rise up. That's all, because they've been told this is coming. If it's their faith, and they go in there and they ask him, how can you guys all gather and speak about this, and then just all leave the parking lot in separate directions and go home? Why don't y'all talk in the parking lot, and why aren't you allowed? Apparently they're not allowed to discuss it. Politics out, so that kind of stinks. I don't know why we all come together then, and why we can't talk about what's going on, because it's obvious that something's going on. And but I am not against the LDS religion. And like I say, I've researched it, and I told him, and I've researched it more than ever. And man, it's quite obvious these men are well educated and knew what they were talking about, and have great things to say. And I know more and more about it. I'm Christian, and so are they.
Right.
So we don't have that many differences. And so the Mormon question is basically because I believe that Sheriff Wolf is Mormon. And, so that was thrown out there. And like I say, maybe these kids, if a kid wrote this, they didn't know what they were doing. But I'm pretty sure, a high school teacher should know better. And whether he doesn't follow anything and had no idea that anything happened in Harney County, 120 miles from us, and if there was a high school, 120 miles from us that's in our league in a lot of we play them in a lot of sports, and we travel there to play football and volleyball and track. And he didn't know that their school was shut down, I guess maybe for a while, and didn't realize that could come to our town next, I suppose. But maybe he missed all that in the news and just let this pass because he didn't realize it was a big deal. But you know, I guess it's a big deal to us. We've been knee deep, and I don't feel comfortable with that. And a lot of people obviously don't either. I didn't put it in anybody's mind. I just asked for thoughts, and obviously their thoughts are are along with mine, and that I don't know what good could have come of this. So,
Yeah, a lot of people that viewed the video were like in shock. But then I had a couple of comments. Well, I had one in particular that said that they were from that area, went to that school, and that's why they moved from there because it doesn't surprise them a bit that a school's doing that. It's a comment. I didn't make it. I've never been there. And
right.
then another person commented under them, yes, that's right. That's true what you're saying. So, but then again, I've had a bombardment of comments just in the last few hours, just bombarding me, telling me I don't know what I'm talking about, which I'm relaying your story because it's
Yes.
something that I've followed. So I want to ask the next question here on this thing is how responsible should our new sheriff be? Someone who is more responsible with fellow employees, someone who has made inappropriate gestures towards a female deputy. Is there something going on in the area that happened about a female
Well,
deputy?
apparently that was a while back involving, but I actually I don't know anything about it. So I'm not. It was alleged. I don't think he was. That nobody was ever, convicted of anything. Obviously.
Okay, so these
So
things are based on things that may or may
it,
not have happened, though.
yeah, right. And I don't know anything about that. I've heard, rumors about that, and but it's a small town. I don't know anything. What I have heard is that there were, some accusations and nothing ever came of it, and he was not,
Right, but I mean,
convicted. But I don't know him personally. I do know Sheriff Wolf a little better. I went to school with him. He was a few years ahead of me. But I won't say anything about either one of them because I don't know. Or, I don't
and
know anything
that's
about that.
good.
But I have.
I appreciate that, but I mean, what I'm trying to figure out is all of these questions because that's what it looked like. It was kind of like in a leading direction politically one way or another, which I mean
Well,
is
yeah,
ludicrous.
that was my point earlier too. That how a 15-year-old, or whatever, who wrote these questions came up with that information. I don't know of him, any of that problem. So I don't know how someone else would, unless they were, getting a little help. But I don't know. I don't know
Right.
anybody who helped. I'm not after anybody. So
Right. You just want to know what the heck's going on because this is see him a lot of people I guess cognitive dissonance, when something's so horrific you don't want to admit it or a lot of people say, "Oh, what's the big deal?" Well, this kid is really leading into something, especially if you've studied history, that's really frightening in my opinion, I mean, so
right.
So, just to get this straight, these questionnaires, there were seven of them, and they were set on a
8.
table
Yep. Yep. Correct.
to for the kids to fill out before class was over.
Yep.
And
Correct.
the one about the guns, yeah, I'm gonna have to display that because that's pretty frightening. I wanted to get the story behind that, so that was put in there. The one about the guns was put in there with this one too, huh?
Yeah. It was. They're all stapled together, separate. They all have a head page, a cover page, and a back page or whatever. But they're all separate. Yeah. And there was 8 of them, and that was separate from the one. There's one here about gym equipment. What type of gym equipment would you like more of? You know, simple looks like something a kid would write, you know. And the one about the pizzas, you know, that's a good questionnaire, you know, for a math class. If you're trying to do a statistical graph on a survey, then that one, you know, the pizza one makes a little more sense. You know, I can see where that you could get something from that. Not this one that's very leading. You know, what size of pizza do you buy? You know, they're not leading you down the road. Medium or no opinion. On
Right.
this one, you know, on this one you get opinions and you get to actually fill it out. So, you know, the kids don't want to answer a question with no opinion. That's pretty much blazed into their mind. You got to have an opinion, you know. Every time, my kid, I hope doesn't see the words "no opinion" and circle that ever.
Right.
So,
Right.
but anyway,
Well,
so that's
thank you. And do you have anything else you want to add? Because this is some strange stuff. It really is.
well, like I say, it just fell in our lap, and it's only been what 2 days, and so it's been a lot, you know, to take in. There's a lot of people who are, you know, who are angry, and there's a lot of people though on the other side to say it's crazy and just don't get it, and that's all. That's all it is. I mean, I don't get it. I don't know why. Number one, the thing that really made us angry was Lavoie's name. You know, that you know, and the fact that I don't know. I talked to our sheriff, and he's justified it too, and I just don't agree. And you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lavoie, my wife's trying to tell me that don't forget that Lavoie, you know, he came for Steve and Dwight Hammond, and then you know the stuff that their family's going through right now for the second time, and you know, and they did every other thing they could. I guess is what I want to say as far as the Harney County deal, and that's why we're upset about it. You know, number one is that that a lot went wrong. A lot could have been different if they you know didn't have to go that way. I know that. I think a lot of people do, and I just disagree with my sheriff, I guess, on the fact that you know that it could have went differently. So
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
something that has been left kind of put aside, maybe not forgotten, but the Hammonds, and that's what all this is about. Thank you for reminding me of
yeah,
that.
absolutely,
That's
yeah, and that's that's no, that's why they came here. I mean, they were done with their deal. They made their point in Bunkerville in 2014. You know, and I don't. They came here because it was just happening again, and when it happened to the Bundys, and people came from everywhere, you know, to help them. People they didn't know, strangers, and that's exactly what they did for the Hammonds. They just came because they saw the injustice. They saw what, you know. Obviously, they had filed their redress of grievances. It's in the Constitution. They'd done everything they could. You know, don't people don't understand that they had they had gone through every legal step, and they were still just being slapped in the face by obvious stuff. And so these men came to help and explain to the country, and that's why he's not here anymore. You know, because he was a teacher, and he was a good man. You know, I met him on Martin Luther King Day,
Oh
which is
wow.
ironic, and I don't think that was an accident. I think that he is, you know, my Martin Luther King. So, um, but we're not done. You know, we got a long way to go. Some boys got out today here. That's great. Glad to hear a couple guys in Portland were released. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if you had that information yet today that Sean Anderson, one of the last four, was released this afternoon. So that's good. He gets to go home at least, be with his wife till
Sh-
trial. So,
Sean Anderson was released today. No, I didn't know
yeah,
that. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. That is that is information, and that we saw the video. So, no. Anyway,
Well, I thank you so
anything else?
much,
Okay.
because what you're doing is very brave, and have you has a lot of people came up to you or attacked you in any way, verbally or anything like that, or uh,
No, not yet. I mean, my wife's got some on Facebook. Yeah. I mean, there's people that you know that are angry. You know, I guess, and think that we're, you know, they're worried about their reputation. That's exactly what their words were. They, you know, they don't think that since I don't have a kid in the school either that I should have an opinion, I guess. But they're just more worried about their reputation and what this could do to that, and that's not at all. My picture's on the wall in the high school too. I graduated here in this small town, and I'm very proud of it. I have a Viking tattooed on my arm because we're the Vale Vikings, and I haven't forgot where I come from. But this doesn't need to happen in our schools, and I'm standing up for the people who won't, because I guarantee there's people who have kids in this school that would love to stand up and aren't going to do it, and I will.
Amen. Oh my gosh. Thank you. I thank you for speaking out and standing up and being brave, and your wife as well. Um,
Absolutely, my wife is very brave. She's an awesome wife and an awesome patriot. So thank you.
and you've got my contact information. Anything you need, please don't hesitate. Okay?
Okay, I want to let you know that it's an honor to speak with you. We follow your show and we love what you do. Also, you are amazing, and just a million thank yous to you. So
Well, thank you too, and tell your wife, keep up the good work. She's a lucky lady.
thank you.
Okay, it was
I
great
appreciate that.
talking to you.
You too. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.